Okay. Hello. I have a setup, I think, with the bookshelves. This is for sure not how they're going to stay, but it's good for now, while I'm continuously getting new books and reorganizing. But I've definitely cleared up a lot of space since moving my classics, so that's kind of nice. Hi! I'm going to be a little out of breath today. Don't know why. I'm also freezing, so it's gonna be fun. I'm here to do my wrap up for October as well as my November TBR. Typically I don't do wrap up videos because I'm always talking about them in my vlogs, and so I don't want to oversaturate talking about the same books. I usually just give my opinions, but since vlogging in October didn't happen as well as I would have liked, I feel like I didn't update enough. So, deep breaths. I have today the books that I have finished reading, my ratings on them, what I think, what I thought, and then have my TBR for November, which is exciting and fun, but also soul-crushing and devastating. So, let me... 4, 5, 6, 7... So I technically read 12 books in the month of October, which I would say for myself is really good. Unfortunately, they're all audiobooks. I did not have a lot of like physical reading time. I was pretty busy. Still am pretty busy, but I just didn't have the same time to work on. Not work on, that's wrong. I just didn't have the right time for reading. So it was a lot of audiobooks. So the first audiobook that I completed in the month of October was Which Happens by A.M. King. Put it up here for you guys. This is a trilogy, I believe. It is a cozy mystery. It is about witches and yeah, not a lot happened. Okay, so the premise of this book, the pitch, if you will, is that we are following our main character, whose name I'm sorry, I don't know. Anyways, we're following this girl, and it is her, I believe, 25th birthday, and she loses her fiance slash boyfriend, and she gets fired from her job. All in the morning, and then come to find out, she's a witch. In this realm, this world, it is contemporary, so it is set in real life, sort of. She is kind of going through it on her birthday, and her aunts call her up saying, "You're a witch. You should come live with us. You should move to this town that we all live in. Your sister moved here when she was 25 and found out she was a witch. You should move here too." So she does. She packs up everything, takes her talking cat, and goes on her merry way. And then, like, there's a murder, and she's solving the murder, but she's not. Anywho, I gave this 2 stars. Not super memorable. Not well written. It's very simple, it's very easy to get through, but it just doesn't seem like somebody came through and proof edit the story. And normally I'm not one for like bad writing, but just the story didn't capture you. The only character I liked was the cat, of course. So I didn't jive with it. It might be for you, it might be for somebody. I read the reviews, it didn't look like a lot of people were liking it, but that's fine. Someone out there likes it. That's good for them. Up next, I read If We Were Villains. I finally did it. MLREA, 5 stars. So good. I get the hype. I get the hype. I get it. So, we're following 6 characters, all through the perspective of Oliver. And, oh my goodness, I love it. I don't even know how to explain it. We are following perspective of a kid who, at the beginning, like first chapter, he's getting released from jail, and the sheriff or lead detective on the case, I suppose, is retiring, and he just wants to know the truth. He wants to know what really happened because he doesn't believe the true story that he was told. And so the day that he gets released from jail is the day that him and the sheriff return back to his university, where he studied Shakespeare with his peers, and they became this really tight-knit group of friends, and somebody dies. And so it's just uncovering the story of that, and it was really freaking good. I like Shakespeare. I like Shakespeare in stories. That'll be a theme a little bit later as well. It's good. It's so good. I can't wait to get the chance to reread, especially a physical copy. I, of course, obviously listened to it on audiobook, and it was a good audiobook, I'm not gonna lie. I think it took me a couple days maybe to finish. Alright, the next one was actually an ebook, and it's 100 Ghosts, A Gallery of Harmless Haunts by Doogie Horner, I think. Adorable, cute, 5 stars. This is a graphic novel. It's a picture book with words. It's so cute though. It was adorable. I just like quickly read it in bed before jumping into a different graphic novel, and it was very adorable, very cute. I really enjoyed it. It gave me that spooky vibe without being spooky, you know? Alright, the next audiobook I listened to was a shorter audiobook. I think it's around 30 or so hours, I think, is The Last Final Girls by Stephen Graham Jones. If you're caught up on my vlogs, then you know I'm on a kick. I'm just reading all that I can of him for some reason. This was my first taste with him. It is again on the shorter side. We are following a character. Oh, I'm gonna pitch this so badly. Please, like, take this review as a grain of salt. This is not even a review. Take anything I say as a grain of salt. So, this is about a girl who is a final girl at a high school with other final girls. And there was a tragic slasher murder of a group of people who were on the prom committee. Is this too much? Is this spoilers? Maybe I need to read the synopsis first. I'm gonna just... Life in a slasher film is easy. You just have to know when to die. Aerial view. A suburban town in Texas. Everyone's got an automatic garage door opener. All the kids jump off a perilous cliff into a shallow river as a rite of passage. The sheriff is a local celebrity. You know this town. You're from this town. Zoom in. Homecoming Princess Lindsay. She's just barely escaped death at the hands of a brutal, sadistic murderer in a Michael Jackson mask. That part I'm not sure how I feel about. Up on the cliff, she was rescued by a horse and bravely defeated the killer, alone, braless. Her story is already a legend. She is town... Oh, I can't even read this, seriously, okay. She's this town's heroic final girl, their virgin angel. Monster vision. Halloween masks floating down the same river the kids jump into. But just as one slaughter is not enough for Billie Jean, our mass killer, one victory, is not enough for Lindsay. Her high school is full of final girls, and she's not the only one who knows the rules of the game. When Lindsay chooses a host of virgins, misfits, and former final girls, she replaces the slaughtered members of her original homecoming court. It's not just a fight for survival, it's a fight to become the last final girl. The synopsis is how it sounds. I know that's kind of a long one, but I can't put that into my own words, unfortunately. But it was pretty interesting. I did only give this 3 stars. Looking back on it, I like the techniques. He kind of writes it in the style like as if you were watching the movie. So it talks about like the point of view is changing, like things are moving, you don't know what's gonna happen, like you didn't see what happened, so you don't know, you as the audience don't know. And it kind of feels like a breaking the fourth wall story. So I think like from that perspective it was really well written. It was very interesting, something I haven't read before. But I'm not sure how I felt about the actual story itself. It was weird, it was bizarre, and I think that's kind of Stephen Graham Jones' thing, which I can appreciate. But for my first read with him, I was like, okay, it was fine. Like, I didn't love it, but it was fine. The next book that I read was The Vine Witch by Louise G. Smith. This is, I think, also a trilogy. I started a lot of series on accident. This is about a woman who was a frog for 7 years after being cursed, and she comes back to her town, which is full of vineyards. Everyone has a vine witch. These vine witches take care of the land and the vines and the grapes and make like the best wine you could ever drink. And so she returns to her home, and things have changed. The property was sold to a businessman, or a lawyer actually, and she talks him into working on the vines, but no silly magic, because he doesn't believe in it. From there, we go on this adventure. Her ex-fiance gets murdered and she's pinned for it, and you're just like on this journey with her. I ended up giving this 3 stars, maybe 3.5. I enjoyed the story. I didn't love the story. It was just like, whatever. But I think I might continue on with the series, because it was just like, okay, there was some romance, there was some murder, there was some jailbreaks. It has a lot. But yeah, it has a good amount of things in it going on. It's not like too fantastical, but it's not just like contemporary boring. Sorry. Anywho, I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. 3 stars. 3 out of 5. Oh boy. Up next is my favorite book of the month, was The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, I believe. Oh wow, 5 stars. How do you even explain this book? I have it coming in the mail. Austin and I listened to this on a road trip. It was so fantastic. We both really loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I ordered us copies. I can't wait to reread it and annotate it. This is basically following a shepherd who goes on a journey from a dream to find treasure. And you're just along the ride with him. And it's spectacular. It's philosophical. It makes you think. It kind of gives you that life advice you already know, but it kind of just tells you again. You're kind of like, oh yeah, I should feel this way. I should think this way. It was incredible. I'm so excited to reread this. I don't have words. It's so good. Next one is Mary, The Adventure of Mary Shelley's great-great-great-great-granddaughter. This is written by Bree Grant, and it was very cute. I liked it. It's very short. It was like 130 pages, I think, around there. Graphic novel, cute art style. I like the characters, I like the plot and the storyline. I just think it ended short. It could have gone on a bit longer. It kind of had an abrupt ending. I think that this is something that could have been a bigger series. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, so I don't know why it wasn't and why it's just a standalone, but I did give it 3.5 stars. Thought it was cute. I enjoyed the art style a lot. I liked the storyline. I liked all the characters. I laughed quite a bit, I'm not gonna lie. Bun Bun, who is possessed by Shirley Jackson, was probably my favorite character and my screensaver for the month of October. The next book that I finished in October was actually a middle grade, Midsummer Mayhem by Rajani LaRocca. I liked it. It was very cute. It was very wholesome. If you enjoy food as much as I do, the language surrounding food and nature was just so incredible, delectable, scrumptious. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really cute. There was definitely some flaws along the way. I know that I'm not the targeted audience for this, but there were a few things along the way that I was like, about. But this relates back to Shakespeare, A Midsummer's Night's Dream. I actually read that in high school, and I really enjoyed it. And so it was really cool to see it featured into a middle grade like this, and to have the brother who was really good at theater be doing that play, and then have her two other sisters who are extremely talented at soccer and extremely talented at dance, because her family and this entire town is just talented at stuff. And our main character, Mimi, or Mimi Mouse, is a baker. She's like a fantastic baker, and the While Away is a new bakery that just opened in town, and they're holding a competition for the kids, and she enters, and you just kind of see the trialations of her dealing with her own personal issues as well as trying to win this baking competition. And she just has such a way with flavors. I was so happy to see at the end of the book there were recipes, and I'm really excited to try. Granted, I don't have an adventurous palate. I love food, but I'm picky. But I did end up giving this 3.5 stars. Yeah, I think that's a fair rating. I don't know, as much as I love a middle grade, I don't know if it kind of is gonna ever hit that mark for me of getting to a 5-star, but who knows, maybe one day. Oh, I don't want to talk about this next one. This next one I read because it was brand new released. I saw Gabby Reed's talk about it in one of her videos of October. It ended up on Scribd. It was 2 hours long. I was like, booyah, let's do it. I'm talking about Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra. It was disappointing. It was really disappointing. I loved the concept. I loved the synopsis, what it was supposed to be about. I loved the Japanese folklore and this haunted manor that this group of friends is going to for two of them getting married together because they love spooky haunted stuff. I love that concept. That is such a good concept. I think this could make such a good TV show. Again, like I said, we are following a group of friends, sort of, who have a lot of drama with one another. Very petty, high school, immature drama, which is kind of annoying to read. They're not likable characters. Rent out this spooky manor who has a reputation, who, as if it's a living house. The house has a reputation of a bride who asked to be buried alive on her wedding day because her husband died on the way. And so she wanted to stay there and wait for him forever after death. And so now every year they ask for a new person to be sacrificed. I feel like the summary of the story feels like it's the entire plot, seeing as it's so short, but it's not. There's more. I gave it 2 stars. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the drama. It wasn't scary enough. There wasn't enough creep factor. I was really expecting like eerie, creepy, and maybe, not to knock on the narrator, but maybe it was the audiobook's fault. Maybe it wasn't as creepy as it could have been. But yeah, it was really disappointing. It really wasn't that good. I'm sorry. Next is another short one. I did a lot of short stories this month. Maybe because it's just easier to fill them in my time, in my schedule, because they're shorter. Anywho. The next one was Night of the Mannequins. This is also by Stephen Graham Jones. This one's weird. I don't even know how to explain this. That's how I feel about his books. Like, I don't know how to talk about them. Especially the shorter ones. Like, what are you supposed to say? So, this is about a guy out of high school who thinks that the mannequin him and his friends found, that they ended up abandoning after playing with for quite some time, is come back to haunt them. And you get to see the hauntings. You get to see the spooky dooky weird stuff that happens. It's really interesting. I know. I also gave this 3 stars because I don't know if weird is for me. I don't know if I'm meant for the weird, you know? It's so weird, but it was good. Like, it wasn't bad, but it's not maybe for me. I think Stephen Graham Jones might be one of those authors that I do better physically reading. rather than just listening to the audiobooks, because I am not gonna lie, with it being so short and me listening to it a little too fast on accident, I had to restart it. So I listened to the first 2 hours twice. So I listened to 4 hours of a 3-hour audiobook. But overall, I thought it was good once I was understanding the concept. I was a little confused. Alright, we're down to the last 2, but also 4. This, I feel like, might need to be its own video because I'm taking so long. Or this will just be really long. Who knows? I don't know. Anywho, White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. I gave this a generous 3 stars. I don't even know what to say. So, in this story, we are following Marigold and her family as they come together, one side being her brother and her mother, who are black, joining family with her stepdad and her now stepsister, Piper. I remember her name very well. And they come together as a family and move to a different state away from their house in California because of Marigold's tragic overdose and drug addiction, as well as the fantastic opportunity to live in a home free of charge as long as the parents are providing an artistic atmosphere and are going to these events. My camera stopped recording. That's the premise, I suppose. It's a haunted house story. It definitely had a spooky moment or two. Maybe I'm just a little bit harder to scare. The only part that really got me was the alarm scene with her phone. That part kind of got me, but overall, I think it might have been credit to the narrator. It just, you didn't feel that fear in their tone or anything. It just kind of read the same. So that might have been it. Maybe I need to reread this physically, but also, like, I don't love the story, and I live in the state of Oregon. Oregon loves their weed. I personally don't smoke or participate in that activity because I just don't like how I feel. And I know a lot of people who do get paranoid or don't do well on it, and that's fine. That's great. I just thought with, how do I want to say this? I kind of thought that this might try to destigmatize marijuana and normalize the fact that people smoke it. I'm not condoning that the youths and underage kids are smoking marijuana, but at the same time, like, it's normal. A lot of people do it. It has so many medical benefits. Like, it's not something that needs to be demonized as bad, and I feel like that kind of happened, which is a shame because, sorry, this might be a little spoiler, but she overdosed on fentanyl laced weed, and she had a sort of like an opioid addiction, and that for some reason wasn't touched on. Like, she's doing worse things, and somehow, like, that part got skimmed over, that she's, like, snorting drugs. So I don't love that. And then the fentanyl thing, like, yeah, that's real. I go to music festivals. I have a lot of friends who partake in these kind of recreational activities, and testing your drugs is very important, and fentanyl's a really big problem right now. So it's definitely something to bring awareness to, but the fact that it was so brushed over and just skimmed, that was the problem. Instead, they make it seem like weed is such a demon, such the bad thing. Like, it's all the weed's fault. The weed makes her paranoid. She's seeing things. It's so bad if she smokes. And she's just trying to calm her anxiety. Her anxiety about bed bugs, which seems so real. And I don't love the facts about bed bugs in the story, but I don't like how this was portrayed very well. I don't like how it was, I don't like how it was portrayed. I wish that it normalized marijuana a little bit more. The haunted house stuff was creepy. The ending was super abrupt. Like, it just, no epilogue, nothing. Like, it just ended all of a sudden, which I don't think was the way to go with how slow paced it seemed for a while, to just like speed it up at the end and then like cut it off. Like, it was fine. I gave it 3 stars. It was a generous 3 stars. Sorry for my rant. I don't like that kind of stuff. I have a lot of feelings. You can have a different opinion on weed, marijuana. I know it's different for different states and different countries, and that's totally fine. You don't have to partake in it, but I don't think that we need to worry about marijuana anymore. I don't think it needs to be such a big deal all the time. So yeah. Next, I read Veena A. Fierias' The Latinx Poetry Project. This was a collection of over 45 poets, I believe, who entered basically her contest for a chance to be put in this book, I suppose. I gave this 5 stars because, of course, it's poetry. It's from Latinx voices talking about just life, immigration, being raised in the United States, how they're treated, how society views them. Some of them touched on feminism, which as a woman I could relate to. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was very well crafted. The poems were really good. Put my butt into gear a little bit to learn Spanish some more because whew, some of the poems are completely in Spanish, which I love. And some of them have half Spanish, half English. Some of them have like the English version and the Spanish translation, or the Spanish version and the English translation with it, which I also really enjoyed. But I definitely am like, whoo, I should start learning Spanish again because that's a good skill to have. Alright, that was all that I read in the month of October, and I also completed V.E. Schwab's Darker Shade of Magic, as well as Ewan Wright's The Hoodie Girl. And starting in November, I already finished two books, which is pretty cool. So I'm not going to talk about those too much because they were just carryovers, which was Horrid and Coraline. Horrid I gave 4 stars. Coraline I gave 5, of course. Loved it. Do prefer the movie. Controversial topic? I don't know. And for Horrid, I enjoyed it. Loved the ending. Long chapters. This is another haunted house story. Would have preferred it. Probably would have given it 5 stars if it was in first person. So, boom! We did it! Woo! October Reds. Done. November TBR. Let me grab up my handy dandy iPad now. Alrighty, so for the month of November, this is the only thing that I am partaking in, and that is the Bloomin readathon. This is hosted by Ali V and Kirsty. I will link their announcements, TBR videos, as well as their first vlogs, since they're already up. So, this is what I'm basing my reading off of this month. I'm definitely doubling up books, so I won't go too in depth. I also have printed out their little symbols and what they mean and like what prompt goes to it. So let's get into it. First off, we're going to start with what's being carried over that I did not finish. Girls of Paper and Fire. I'm getting to halfway point. Started this at the beginning of October, haven't really picked it up since mid-October. Would like to finish though. I am enjoying it. It is definitely difficult at times to read. Check trigger warnings before going into it. Next up, I don't want to talk about it. I think I lost the dust jacket. We have A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. I'm loving it. I absolutely love this. This is everything that Horrid could have been if Horrid was in first person. I am at the halfway mark. I'm really enjoying this. I'm going to continue reading this. Hopefully finish it this first week. And then, for the October Literally Dead book club pick of the month, we have My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. You know it. yeah, so this I need to finish, like absolutely need to finish before the live show, which is coming up over this weekend. So I'm going to finish this. I'm a little over the halfway mark, about 60% of the way. Starts out slow. I'm waiting for it to like give me something, be more. Right now I'm a little bored. So those are my carryovers. Now unfortunately, I use Scribd to get my audiobooks and ebooks. Scribd has nothing available until November 24th. Woo! Isn't that great? So, because of that, I'm focusing primarily on what physical books I can read. Obviously, it's November. I'm busy. I have a lot going on. I don't have time to read all of these books. So I've doubled up a lot of prompts. So, the first book that is on my November TBR is Under the Whispering Door. This is by TJ Klune, same author who wrote House in the Cerulean Sea right there. This is covering popular book, author you like, LGBTQ+. So that's going to be 3 of my bloomin' prompts. Oh my goodness. This is about a man, Wallace, who gets visited by the Reaper, collected to die. And he doesn't wanna. He meets this other gentleman who helps him, I suppose, past the door to the other side. I don't know if he's like in the middle, I'm not sure. But I loved House in the Cerulean Sea. That was a 5-star favorite book of mine. So I'm excited to see what this has to offer. I know that this is going to touch on death and grief and all of that fun stuff. Might put me in an existential crisis if it gets deep enough. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, that was also going to be for emotional read. I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to read this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish this. I've been on page 28 for how many months now? But yeah, this is back on the TBR. We are trying again, picking it back up. So this is going to cover book set in another country. This is a small book. This also is an adaptation. I would really like to watch the movie Dorian Gray from 2019, I think. And then this is also before 1990. When was this published, you may ask? I don't know. This is following Basil and Dorian Gray. And Basil is this incredible painter who is just infatuated with Dorian Gray and his beauty. And Dorian Gray wants to be young forever. So somehow, I don't know yet, he ends up trapped in a painting. Like, his essence is trapped in this painting that Basil created, and therefore he stays young forever. I think. Take that with a grain of salt. I'm only 28 pages in. Nothing exciting's happened yet. For my picks of friendship as well as reread, I'm going with The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. 5-star read. Finally read it at the beginning of this year in May. This is a favorite book of mine, absolutely, positively. I love the movie. Reading this just read like the movie, so if you love the movie, you're gonna love the book. So good. I'm so excited to jump back into this again. I'm not pleased about this one, but for disability rep, I'm gonna try my hardest to finish All's Well by Mona Awada. I'm still 75 pages in, I think. Haven't even finished the first part. It's just slow. You're as in much pain as the narrator protagonist. I don't know. I don't want to. I was really hoping to listen to the audiobook so that I could fly through this a bit quicker. But yeah, that's on the list. If you guys have any other stories that have disability rep, please leave them down below and let me know. I would love to check them out, widen my range for disability rep, and would also like to hear from own voices on like how they were done, because I really can't speak on it. Up next, probably my most anticipated read for November would be Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. I'm so excited for this. One, absolutely beautiful. Like, I'm sorry, who said this could be so pretty? To be scary? Spooky? Okay. This has been pitched by Carrie Can Read as The Village. If you've seen that movie, it's like The Village, and I love The Village. This is going to fit the dark horror prompt, the spider prompt. I just want an excuse to read this. This is also going to fill the love prompt, but I don't think there's any love in here. So I know I'm gonna love this book. Yeah. I'm trying to keep myself organized, so I keep putting them back right now just because I have too many books out and I don't have a TBR shelf yet. Just a couple more. We have The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling. This is the Literally Dead book club pick for November. This will be the last pick book. This will be the last book of the year for the book club, since Kayla takes December and I think January off? Maybe just December. I don't remember. I think it's both. Anyway, so I don't know what this is about. I'm excited though. I'm very excited. I think she dies. This will be filling in my death or grief tokens so that I felt accomplished putting it on my TBR. What do we have next? Is that all of my physicals? Yes. Alright, so that's all the physical books, which is a lot. Do I think that I can do this? No, I don't. But I don't have a lot of reading plans for December, so I'm just going to carry everything over. Next we have Know My Name by Chanel Miller. This is actually currently on the way. It should be here, I think, Saturday? This is probably my most anticipated nonfiction memoir ever. I've heard such fantastic things. I'm so excited to read it and educate myself further on the Brock Turner case and everything that happened in her perspective, especially. I don't really care what the news outlets say, but I'm really excited for this. This is going to be deep breaths. This is going to be my non-fiction prompt. This will be my highest rated prompt, funnily enough, on my Goodreads, all of my TBR shelf. This is the highest rated, so that's also exciting. That's my TBR for the Bloomin readathon. Sorry that was so chaotic. Oh boy. Oh boy. Dang it. For the buzzword readathon, because no, I have not forgotten about it. Although I'm horrible at accomplishing it. I have Lost in the Nether Woods by Aiden Thomas. This is a Peter Pan retelling, and that's all I know. I'm really excited. I'm really bummed that I didn't get to Cemetery Boys in October before I was able to read this, since it was snatched away from me and won't be available until the end of the month. But I'm going to hopefully read this one, and then I'll read Cemetery Boys later after. But yeah, I'm really excited. This is probably one of my more anticipated reads for this year. Alrighty, and the final book that I would like to read. This is kind of just at this point me shouting to myself to just read it, please. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I've heard too many good things. I know this is going to be fantastic. I know I'm going to love it. And yet, for some reason, I'm prioritizing every other book about it. Maybe because it's big. I don't know. I know I'm going to love it. I know I'm going to fall right into it, and I'm just going to want to read it so much. Maybe I'm overhyping it in my head, and that's why I'm scared to read it. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm excited. I'm really excited. I think this is going to be good. Okay. So that's my extremely long and obnoxious TBR and wrap-up video. Sorry. Hope you stuck around for that. That'd be cool if you did, because, oh boy, it was rough. But, yes, that is my Bloomin TBR, as well as just additional books. Pretty pleased with myself for fitting almost all the books that I want to read on to the Bloomin TBR. I do wish that I could participate more, but I'm not going to overwhelm myself. I'm going to read what I can read. So, thank you for watching. I'm sorry this was chaotic and just throwing information at you, it feels, but I really appreciate you watching. Stick around. Comment down below. What's your November TBR look like? What is a book you think I might like? Let me know. Alright. See you guys.